Steam is currently owned by this guy, Gabe Newell, the CEO and founder of the company. Many people say he is the reason the company hasn't become a greedy grease glob like some other companies. But what would happen to Steam if Gabe decided to step down? Or even worse, he dies. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. He's 61 years old, so that means he's near the retirement age. He's also not in the best health he could be in. Well, I see 3 potential scenarios that could happen to Steam if Gabe was gone, and most of them aren't great. Scenario 1, Microsoft buys the company. There's one gaming company that likes to play Agario, but instead of these random blob things, it's multi-million-dollar gaming studios they're gobbling up. You've probably guessed it's Microsoft. Especially for a little bit, it felt like Microsoft was constantly buying up gaming studios. It just is constantly shutting them down. I think the fact that Microsoft has their own shitty store on PC alone shows that they would be interested in owning Steam. They're probably seething in jealousy when they look at Steam because they don't understand why nobody likes their storefront. But we don't have to speculate because we know Microsoft wants to own Valve and Steam. When Microsoft was on its Agario run and decided to buy Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion, the FTC tried to block and sue Microsoft for anti-consumer practices. One of the leaked emails that Phil Spencer, the CEO of Microsoft Gaming, sent out talked about how he was interested in buying Steam/Valve. The email said that Microsoft would be, quote, fully supportive if the opportunity arose when talking about Valve and Nintendo. The Nintendo part is a topic for another day, but the Valve one is interesting. There was even a rumor that was circulating earlier this year that Microsoft was about to buy Valve for $16 billion. That rumor was absurd, by the way, because Steam makes roughly $16 billion in revenue a year, if not more. But you might disagree. You might think that Microsoft owning Steam wouldn't be that bad. Yeah, the Valve selection of games would be on Game Pass, but I picked up every Valve game ever for like $6 during one of Steam's multiple sales, so that's kind of just dumb logic. Here's why Microsoft owning Valve would be terrible. I think the most immediate change that would happen, and the one that everyone could agree on, is this: a big fat Microsoft login added to Steam. They did it to Minecraft, which is a game, so I have little doubt that they wouldn't add it to a whole storefront. And Microsoft even went a step further. If you didn't link your Minecraft account that you bought with real money to their dumb Microsoft account thing, you actually lost your Minecraft account. So just like that, they got rid of the game that you purchased because you didn't bend to their will. If that's not scary to you, I don't know what is. Another thing that I'm almost 100% sure they would add is some AI shit nobody asked for. And this is getting more into the conspiracy theory territory, but I am highly suspicious of their AI reviews. On Microsoft's own store, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, which they now own because they bought Blizzard, has a 2.6 star rating. But that's not the problem. The problem is what the AI review says. The review is glazing this game so hard. This game works well on PC Game Pass, and Xbox is now the best way to play COD. That's interesting. I'm sure there's tons of people saying that. What a normal thing to say in a review. Graphics are top notch, and the game is only 150 gigabytes. Bro, only? Who has ever said that? 150 gigabytes is insane. And even if you don't think that's that many gigabytes for a game, in what world are you leaving a review saying that the game is only 150 gigabytes? But overall, users are happy to see COD on Xbox and included in Game Pass without the need of Battle.net. Honestly, the Battle.net line is pretty real because that shit sucks. Okay, well maybe I'm wrong, and that is what the reviews are saying. Let's take a look. Oh, never mind. They are absolutely not saying that. And what's worse is that this is the first thing you see when you look for the reviews. If you're just quickly scrolling down to see reviews, this is what you're presented with. You have to click this small little see all text to see the actual human reviews. At best, this is a shitty AI product that is accidentally misrepresenting customer reviews. At worst, this is manipulation by Microsoft to try to hide people's real opinions on their own products. Another example of this is on the review page for Adobe Acrobat Reader. The AI review literally says to ignore the negative reviews and try it out. What? How is that even allowed? That's not a review. You're just telling an opinion. What are you talking about? Another thing I believe Microsoft would change about Steam is censorship. Steam is pretty lax with the censorship on their platform, for better or for worse. But Microsoft, I'd say, goes way too far. I know it's meant for a younger audience, but in Minecraft, they censor signs you place in a single player world. I'm the only one seeing those. Why are they censored? It's not like when you censor it, it makes you forget the word exists. They also banned the word skibbity. I hate brain rot as much as the next guy, but what is banning it going to do? Okay, fair enough, ban whatever. But then tell me, why do you guys do nothing about the pay-to-win predatory servers that trick young kids into gambling? I feel like maybe, just maybe, that's a bigger issue than skibbity being the name of a sword I use. But hey, what do I know? Well, I'm sure they won't ban the word skibbity from Steam. That's not my point. I'm just using these examples to show, in terms of censorship, Microsoft likes to take the very, very safe route and basically get rid of every chance for a young gamer to see any type of adult-related content, even if that means bringing down the user experience for everyone else. Considering everything I just said, I feel like the community tab in Steam would either get completely overhauled or just scrapped altogether. The effort they would have to go through to make it more advertiser friendly might be too much to ask for. And reviews are another problem. They've already shown us that they aren't opposed to lying to make their own games look better. Overwatch 2's mostly negative review might just turn into mostly next level. And your comment on this video would probably turn from I hate this video to this video is so awesome I subscribed. So yeah, you should probably go ahead and do that. That'd be cool. So let's take a look at Steam, Microsoft Edition. Opening up the store prompts us with a Microsoft login that has asked me to log in for the 3rd time this week. I hate this login screen. I don't know if you can tell. Oh, I heard some people talking about the new Call of Duty game. Let's go see if that's any good. Ooh, yikes, 1 star? But oh wait, the AI review, which is the only thing I see unless I find this tiny itty bitty little text over here to show the other reviews, is saying that this game is the best game of all time. The 1 star is actually because this game is #1. My bad, I didn't realize that. It all makes sense now. Thank you, AI review. Oh, my Steam friend Thomas just sent me a message. What did he say? Oh, Thomas, you can't say that. Oh no, Thomas is dead now. If you've watched any of my other videos, which you should by the way, you are probably wondering why I look like this. It's because I'm the new host. The last host had a family emergency and couldn't return. So sad. Don't pen over there. What are you doing? You're fired. Scenario 2, the company goes public. Microsoft is a public company, so this may seem redundant, but I want to focus on if the new CEO of the company doesn't sell Steam, but instead turns it into a public company. What would the company look like then? Well, at first glance, this decision doesn't seem too bad, right? Yeah, maybe if you're a shareholder in the company right now, that wouldn't be too bad. You'd probably see your share on the company skyrocket. But if you're an average consumer like everyone watching this video probably is, then no, this would absolutely suck for us. I mean, look at all the free and/or pro consumer services that Steam provides. The biggest one that a lot of us probably abuse, to be honest, is the refund system. It honestly seems too good to be true. You can buy a game and play it for 2 hours and still get a full refund. That's insane. I'm not gonna lie, don't tell Mr. Newell this, but me and my friends have bought a game, played it for exactly 2 hours, and then refunded it right after. Here are all the things that Steam offers for free: Steam Chat, Game Hubs, Steam Broadcast, Steam Workshop, good controller support, achievements, reviews, remote play, Steam Family, where you can buy a game and anyone in your family gets the game for free, Steam Cloud Saves, and probably tons I missed. Some of these may seem like a basic feature, but most of these are really well developed and thought out. Plus, if you say most of these are already on console, well yeah, but you're paying $500 plus for those, and this is a free software. If Steam went public, I'm 100% sure a lot of these once free things would be put behind a paywall or axed altogether. I could even see a subscription service being added to Steam. Imagine a $10 a month subscription called Steam Access. Want cloud saves still? $10 a month. Miss when you could download anything from the Steam Workshop? Yeah, me too. Well, now that cool stuff is only available for $10 a month. Want Steam Family back? $10 a month, you greedy consumer. You don't like all the subscription services that are in everything? You should love paying monthly. I don't care that it used to be free. Whew, okay, sorry. This was a rant, but I am genuinely surprised that Steam doesn't have a subscription service in this day of age. I mean, Rainbow Six Siege has a subscription service. Fortnite even has one. Why? I hate subscription services with every bone in my body. The sad thing is I'd probably pay for a Steam subscription. I do it with hate, but I'd probably do it. I'd imagine the refund system would be way more restricted, if not completely gutted altogether. I mean 2 hours? That's too good. Let's knock that down to 30 minutes. And you can only refund the game 3 days after buying it, down from the original 2 weeks. Much like how I predict Copilot would be haphazardly integrated to Steam, I feel like there would be just a lot of bloat that would be added to Steam if it went public. A big difference between a private company and a public company is that by law, a company that is public is forced to act in the best interest of the shareholders. The customers are no longer the customers when it comes to public companies. When a company goes public, the new consumers are the shareholders, and we as a customer turn into a data point on a graph that helps sell to shareholders and investors. The phrase "a company is not your friend" is very true, but it's even more true when that company becomes a public business. We've also seen the destruction of some much beloved companies because they went public. Blizzard used to be the golden standard of developers, banger after banger after banger, but with games like Overwatch 2 being released, it's clear they have lost their touch. While there are many reasons Blizzard has fallen from grace, a major reason people say was the start of the downfall is when Activision and Blizzard merged together as one company. There's more to the story technically. The company that bought Blizzard was Vivendi, but there's too much to get into here. We have companies like EA and Activision who are both also public. If you are at all involved with the gaming sphere, you know how much people hate these companies. I think at the end of the day, a lot of these companies' issues is the fact that they're a public company. There are two main reasons a company would go public. One is to secure funding for the company for them to be able to grow. And two is so that the owners of the company can increase their stock value and then sell their stocks. As I see it, Steam wouldn't need to do either of these. They have a very stable monopoly in the PC gaming space, so in my opinion, just holding onto the company and not selling shares would be better long term. But greed oftentimes defies logic. If Gabe's successor is especially greedy or isn't passionate about gaming like Gabe is and wants out, I shudder to think what the company will turn into. Steam will slowly start looking like the other greedy companies in the gaming sphere that we hate. One big counter argument to my point is Epic Games. If you're a Steam fan, you're probably also an Epic Games hater. Everyone seems to agree that Epic Games Store just sucks. It's so blatantly obvious Epic wishes it was a PC game store monopoly that Steam is. The problem is that if they were the monopoly, they'd be a lot more greedy and predatory than Steam is right now. And Epic Games is a private company, it's not public. So just because a company isn't public doesn't mean that they can't be greedy and profit driven. It all has to do with the upper management and the leaders of that company. I know I come across as the biggest public company hater, but I assure you, I don't think companies becoming public is inherently bad. It's just that some companies make no sense becoming public, and one of those companies, in my opinion, is Steam. Scenario not happening. His son and or sons taking over. Gabe Newell has two sons, and one of them is semi-famous. The famous one is actually a race car driver, and his name is Gabe Newell. He was actually the inspiration for the final boss in Half-Life, believe it or not. The resemblance is uncanny. The other one we have no idea about, and we don't even have a name, which I respect because if he wanted to be publicly known, he would have done it himself. Well, the one that we do know about, Gabe Newell, was actually working on a game himself. The prototype for the game was named Fury. Fury was being developed by the indie game studio he co-founded called Nader. The game Fury was supposed to be a mix of Garry's Mod, Spore, and Star Citizen. What a mix of games there. Well, the game was announced 6 years ago, and we have zero progress shown from it. The last post made by Nader on Twitter was from 2021, saying that the game was still in development and that they are, quote, still hard at work. The website for the game no longer exists, but using the Wayback Machine, we can see that there wasn't much going on when it actually did exist. I actually got in contact with the CFO of Nader, or I guess now the ex-CFO. I asked him a couple of questions to help clarify the situation with Nader. He basically said that Nader was a bunch of friends getting together to make a business from their passion of games. He says that they aren't official like they were before, but they are still a group of friends that work on stuff together. So the likelihood of a release from Nader isn't fully out of the realm of possibility, but I really wouldn't put my money on it. He also said that the game Fury was put aside for a while to work on other side projects, with the idea to return to it at a later date. So if you were someone who is curious about what happened to that game, well, now you know. I also asked him about what he thought about the possibility of Gray taking over his dad's position when Gabe stepped down. He said, quote, "I feel like Gray would be more interested in making something from scratch himself." While this isn't definitive proof, this is coming from one of Gray's longtime friends and the person he co-founded his company with. He definitely would know Gray more than most people. And honestly, that would have been my guess myself. Most of the time, kids want to diverge from what their parents did, especially when their parent is an omega successful billionaire. I think that's part of the reason Gray does racing. It's something he's good at that is not related to gaming at all. You can't compare his success to his father in the way you could with Nader and Fury. If Gray's gaming company released a game and it flopped, he'd be considered a failure of the Newell family by gamers around the world, even if that's an unfair assessment. I'd imagine that stress is a lot to handle. So while it's possible that Gray would take over the Valve mantle, I'd say it's a very small possibility. Scenario 3, the good ending. I've been very doom and gloom in this video, but I want to end it with a happy note. And if I'm being fully honest, after everything I've researched and seen, I think this is the most likely ending to happen. Steam has a very weird setup for how the company is run. They have what's called a flat corporate structure. This means nobody in the company reports to anybody else. There's no bosses or managers or anything like that. They still have some traditional roles, such as CEO, president, etc., but they don't manage like in a typical company. Each employee has a desk with wheels on it. I'm being so for real right now. Whenever an employee shows up for work, they have an option to wheel their desk over to whatever group of people they want to work with and whatever project they feel like. You can show up, go over to the TF2 section, just kidding, no one updates that game. More like go over to the Deadlock section, work on that for a week, then go over to the CS2 section, work on that for a little bit, and then that's your whole job. You just work wherever you want to work at the time. It's a pretty cool setup. If you want to learn more about this topic specifically, I'd recommend watching this video. After my video, of course, no leaving. This lack of structure is evident in Half-Life 2's end credits. There aren't specific roles or jobs like seen in many games. Let's use Mario Wonder for example. There are teams for game design, course level design, whatever. Half-Life 2's end credits just has every developer listed in one big list, because that's how the game was made. Developers just came and went as they wanted to work on the project and not. They didn't have specific roles. Even Gabe Newell's name is just randomly in this list. This also helps understand why Valve is so bad with updates and game releases. There isn't a specific deadline projects are forced to meet, it's just kind of whenever they finish. And that's so sick. I say all this to help show that maybe Valve and Steam haven't become what they are today because of some rich owners. And instead, maybe it's more because of the collective decision making that the employees at the companies have made. Nobody is mandating them to make anti-consumer choices, so naturally they just make cool stuff that everyone likes. If a new CEO came in and didn't sell out the company or turn it public, then I'd say the company would see very little changes. This is further backed up by a response to an email someone sent to Gabe. Someone emailed Gabe and asked him what would happen to Valve when he is no longer there, and he said, "I suspect Valve would continue to operate pretty much as it always has long after I'm gone. The company is designed to be stable." I think the part about Valve being stable is talking about how the company has a flat structure, like how I touched on earlier. I also think Gabe has a plan. He isn't an idiot and he knows he can't run Valve forever. So I'm sure he has long been planning what happens while he is gone. What happens to Steam and Valve when he's gone. It doesn't seem like he wants the company to change. So I'm sure he is a person who is fit enough to hold the title of CEO and run the company in his vision once he is gone. While it would be sad to see a gaming legend gone, his legacy will live on. It's a scary thought that Steam could turn into a greedy, anti-consumer company like many other gaming entities have become. And there are a couple ways that Steam could fail, but for my own sake, I'm gonna hope that it won't change much, because either way, you and I have no control over what happens. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. It helps so much. I'll see y'all later.